Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I just would like the record to reflect that after beginning his questions by saying that recusing the nominee of being partisan, Senator Cruz then embarked on asking the most partisan series of questions that we have heard to date in this room. And I am actually truly excited to see both of you here today. I think you are both extraordinarily qualified. And as Senator Feinstein noted, I take it as a point of personal pride that we have two extraordinarily qualified women for these jobs before us. And we know what a critical time this is for the Department of Justice. We know, Ms. Monaco, how critical your experience with years at the Department of Justice and the FBI will be, your national security background, the positions you've held will be to this job. And Ms. Gupta, I've had the pleasure of working with you. I've actually had conversations with you repeatedly about the police, and I know how much you value their work. I know how much you are opposed to defunding, and I know how much you're working to make this a better world. And I say this with the George Floyd case, the Chauvin case pending right now in my state. I was there with you on the Edmund Pettus Bridge last year, and I've seen firsthand your commitment to civil rights and your commitment to law enforcement. And these can go hand in hand if done right, which you have devoted your career to. So I guess I would just start with just asking a few things here. First of all, you basically have said that you would enforce the laws on the books. Is that correct?
That's right.
And that we know you have the support of major police organizations. You also believe that Roe v. Wade is settled law. Is that right?
That's correct.
And interestingly enough, would you be surprised that the vast majority of Americans agree with you that it should be settled law and it shouldn't be changed?
I understand that from reading public opinion about it, yes.
Okay. And you want to talk about why you believe in religious liberty?
Senator, my husband's family escaped Vietnam in part to ensure that they could practice their religion with full freedom here in the United States. They were fleeing a regime that was going to be suppressing that and had endured enormous violence and war in their country. I am a person of faith. In fact, last night, my oldest son is not here right now, but in his nightly prayers was asking for kindness at today's hearing. Religious freedom and the ability, regardless of what background you have, whether, whatever religion you believe, is, to me, the kind of founding freedom of this country and is in the First Amendment of the United States. And the Justice Department plays a really important role in protecting and ensuring religious liberty and combating religious discrimination wherever it may find it.
Thank you. Ms. Monaco, after the last 4 years where civil servants withstood improper political interference, what do you see your role is as restoring the trust in the Department of Justice?
Well, Senator, as I said in my opening remarks, I think that the career men and women of the Justice Department are its backbone. They are the people that enforce the law independently, faithfully, fairly, impartially, without any consideration of improper motive. I think they simply want to do their job. They want to do their job with the resources and the tools to keep the American people safe, to prosecute violent crime, to administer justice with compassion and with humility, as Judge Garland talked about before this committee. And they want to see equal justice under law, and they want to do the work that this committee has done on a bipartisan basis to administer criminal justice reform.
Very good.
And so I think my role is to ensure that they've got the tools and the resources to do their job and to protect them from improper influence, any partisan motive, because I think they just want to do their job.
After January 6th, the threat to state capitals across the country was clear, not just this capital, but state capitals. How do you see the department coordinating with state and local law enforcement to better address the threat?
Well, Senator, I think it's critical. I know from my time in the FBI that working hand in glove, shoulder to shoulder with state and local law enforcement is the only way to address any threat, whether it's foreign violent extremism and terrorism, whether it's domestic terrorism, whether it's violent criminal gangs. The force multiplier function that state and local law enforcement contribute, working hand in glove with the FBI, with members of the ATF, the DEA, you name it, they have to come together and to address these threats. And then with the U.S. Attorney's offices, that is the critical function that they can play, and I know they've done it time and again. I've seen it as a assistant U.S. attorney here in the District of Columbia, how important it is to work with state and local law enforcement. So one of the things I look forward to doing is, if I'm confirmed, and working with Ms. Gupta's leadership, overseeing the grant program function of the Justice Department, is making sure that we are able to provide those types of resources to state and local law enforcement.
Thank you. As chair of the Competition Policy and Antitrust Subcommittee, I know how important antitrust enforcement is going to be in not just protecting consumers, obviously, and promoting innovation, but actually protecting capitalism and making sure that we have vigorous entrepreneurship, something that I believe I share in these beliefs with a number of my colleagues across the aisle. I'd like to ask each of you, if you are confirmed, will you commit to making vigorous antitrust enforcement a priority?
Absolutely, Senator.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you. 2/3 of the U.S. industries became more concentrated between 1997 and 2012, and COVID-19's devastating effect has actually resulted in the closing of many, many small businesses and, I believe, more concentrated markets. Would you agree that it's very important, especially now, for our economy, antitrust enforcement?
Absolutely, Senator. I think that the ravages of the pandemic on small businesses and the effect on competition and the ensuing effect on consumers is something that it's a responsibility of the Justice Department and the antitrust enforcement to take on.
And we have seen the competition problems across the board. It's everything from online travel, where 2 companies basically are responsible for over 90% of the postings, and the sites for online travel, which people don't know because they have so many different names. It's everything from cat food to caskets. The Justice Department has taken on the biggest monopolization case in decades against Google, a company worth more than $1 trillion. The FTC is taking on Facebook. I think this is good. I represented MCI when they were taking on monopoly providers, and I saw, as a result of new companies coming in the market, we saw a whole new industry in cell phones being developed. We saw prices go down in the long-distance market, but yet the Justice Department, DOJ, antitrust, and the FTC are a shadow of what they were during the Reagan administration and during the breakup of AT&T. So we can't expect the agencies to take on companies that are the biggest companies the world have ever seen with duct tape and Band-Aids. Senator Grassley and I have a bill to increase funding to the agencies, especially the one you will oversee. Do you favor giving enforcers the resources to do their work?
Yes, Senator, I think that the focus you and other members of the committee are putting on this issue on a bipartisan basis is very important. I look forward, if I'm confirmed, to sitting down with the career experts in the antitrust division and working with Ms. Gupta and her leadership on those issues and understanding how they might be able to use more resources. I think you'll never see somebody in the position I hope to hold turning down more resources.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar.